Buckeye Nation, here we are. Ohio State and Notre Dame set to square off in the final game of the college football season. Man, it's a game we all look forward to all off season long. We hope and pray our team's going to make it. This year, we don't have to hope and pray anymore because we made it. Now, are we going to win it? Golly, I freaking hope so, man. I don't want to get this far and have to be turned away, especially by a program as elite and as historic as the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Two of the biggest brands in college football going to go at it on Monday night in Atlanta. Oh, for everything, all on the line. Nothing could be bigger than the national championship in college football. All is at stake. How did we get to this point, Rob? How did we get to this point in the season where, I'll be honest, man, I didn't think post Michigan, I didn't think we were going to be anywhere near this game. I thought we might win a playoff game. I thought we'd beat Tennessee at home for sure. My confidence grew. But how did this Buckeye team do this? How did they get to this game?
Man, remember, we did a video. I talked about how Ohio State would need to have a heartbreaking loss beginning of the season that happened against Oregon. But little did we know they would need an even bigger push with a final game of the season loss, fourth year in a row to the Michigan Wolverines. And the flag planting fiasco, it lit a fire underneath them. They felt disrespected. The sky was falling at that last game. After that last game in November, Fire Ryan Day, this senior team is going to go out with nothing. Ohio State has done less with more. And then, ever since then, this team has been on a mission. There's been complete disrespect throughout the playoffs. The goalpost keeps getting moved. First, it was, they're gonna get beat by Tennessee. Look at Ryan Day's record against the SEC. The Tennessee is going to plant their flag, renaming
Take over Neyland North.
Yeah, Neyland North, and even going to lengths of tearing down the field goal post on Olentangy River. And then, here comes the Oregon game. Oh, well, they're not ready for what Oregon's gonna do to them. And then they completely dominate Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And then the field goal post was even more. I mean, and even with Texas, they're not going to do crap against Texas. And we beat them. This was not an easy path.
No.
The national championship. Look at their path compared to others. Now, not taking anything away from Notre Dame, but dude, this Buckeye team is laser focused. If there's any year to do it and win it all, it's this year. They're finally getting the full production from that roster. And mind you, before we get to talk about the Notre Dame Ohio State game, I want to show you a clip. We all know what happened last year when Ohio State beat Notre Dame at the last second. Chip Trayanum, ran it in. But it was actually the press conference with Ryan Day that captured a good amount of college football world. So here it is.
A viral clip. Oh, buddy, Lou, where you at?
This game, and it's time to hear from his head coach, who's standing by with Catherine Tapper.
Yes. Watch this. Coach, you knew this one wasn't going to be easy, but it came down to the wire. And what can you say about the performance from your quarterback, Kyle McCord, to finish that drive?
Toughness, that's it. Physicality, across the board, finish it off, having guts. I like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we get a tough team.
I mean, he's got one thing right. It has been Ohio against the world. I just earlier in the video I was talking about how Ohio State has been disrespected throughout this college football playoff, and they're being disrespected even more. Now you have Malik Zaire, ex Notre Dame quarterback, saying Will Howard is one of the worst quarterbacks in the college football playoff. He's not going to lead you to a championship. Even showing pictures of Tressel in Notre Dame gear, saying, "Oh, of course he's going to be against the team who kicked him out." It just the field goal post keeps moving. Now Ryan Day has definitely grown since, he shouldn't have called out Lou Holtz. Let's be honest. That
No,
was bad luck, but he's
didn't
definitely
like it.
grown. He's definitely grown since that game. And, a big way I've seen it was going for it on 4th down. And that continued against Texas, where it's 4th and 2, and Will Howard almost ran it in, but that invisible 12th man. But that set up Junkins to be able to punch it in and go up 21-14.
Man, yeah, you're right, dude. I hadn't heard that rant in a while. It's been a long time. That was fun to hear that again. But yeah, man, we played him the last 2 years. We're gonna play him for a 3rd consecutive season now, with everything on the line. I think Ryan Day has grown. I feel like with that speech, he let a lot of comments get under his skin, and maybe even this year he let some comments get under his skin. We heard it in the preseason, the word tough all the time. You and I were griping about it. We sure were.
Yeah, man. You can't don't talk about how your team is tough. He
Show
hasn't
us.
said one. Show us, and they have shown us. Is Ohio State a pure ground and pound team? No, but they're really tough to beat once that offense gets going. That's how they're tough, and he's finally starting to see that. He's like, hey, I have one of the best wide receivers in college football, who literally got bracketed by receivers,
You saw that today.
3 defensive backs. And,
Yeah.
I have other wide receiver ones out there, Carnell Tate, Emeka Buka. And you know what? I have backs they get out in space and they could take it the distance, just like Henderson did before halftime against Texas. So that's how this team is tough. But yeah, I really think Ryan Day has grown a lot.
I think they're really tough up here too, man. Because the thing is, adversity hit in that Michigan game. They got rocked to their core. The Oregon loss might have woken them up. The Michigan loss rocked them to the core. They had that team meeting, and I think it just galvanized this team. So as painful as that loss was to end their careers, yeah, never beating Michigan. It's true of this group of seniors. It's true. There's no denying it. They can go out and get the biggest crown out there. All the glory, all the smack talk ends when you win a national title, doesn't it?
Yeah, here's the thing. This Ohio State team will not get its respect if they.
Probably not.
I mean, they won't get its respect no matter what. But they definitely won't get its respect until they win it all, man. I mean, again, Oregon's going to be better next season. Texas is going to be better next season. Even Notre Dame's going to be better next season. I mean, this Notre Dame team is young, but Ohio State, I mean, they're going to take a step back next season. Will they be a playoff team? Yes, but getting back to this, it's going to be hard. It's going to be like they're starting all over.
It's really hard to go back to back, especially when you have different quarterbacks playing. So, reset expectations. We reload, we don't rebuild. But yeah, it'll be a tougher road next season. Now, on to this game specifically, we are taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who had a blunder loss of their own. They lost to Northern Illinois at home. Northern Illinois, who just joined the Mountain West Conference, leaving the MAC. And we lost to Michigan, an inexplicable loss. But at least versus a rival, you can explain it away for many reasons. But this Notre Dame team is led by Riley Leonard, man. He's a gamer, what I would describe as a gamer. He improvs well. He can move in the pocket well. He's really good with his legs. He's really elusive. I wouldn't call him quick or fast or anything like that, but he's just, and maybe I would call him quick. Like, he's quick enough where he can get away from defenders and create space and create lanes in the running game. But the thing is, the receivers aren't great, so the passing game hasn't been elite this year for Duke, or for the Duke transfer, Riley Leonard. And so talk about that a little bit, about their offense with Love. He's a wonderful back. He likes to run his mouth a little bit too, but he's a fabulous back, and we need to contain him. I'm not concerned about containing the ground game, in all honesty. We've been doing that all season long.
I mean,
we have the number one pass defense too.
Here's the stat. Here's the
what
stat
you got?
For the last 2 games, Oregon, Texas, in terms of the rushing game.
Oh, I love it.
I think 23 carries for 53 yards.
Teams kind of stopped. They kind of gave up running against us.
Yeah. So Man, I have it. Oh yeah, so 57 carries for 53 yards, man. I
Goodness
mean,
gracious.
there's and you know what? Ohio State's still not getting its roses for its deadly rush defense, dude. I mean, like you look at these backs and look what Jordan James did to us the first game.
Tore us apart.
Tore us apart, man. And then the next, he gets knocked out of the game. And Oregon ended with negative 23 rushing yards. Then we all know what Jaden Blue and Wisner can do. I mean, look what they did in the Oregon game. The Clemson game. They each went over 100 yards,
Yeah, they did.
touchdown or two, and they couldn't get the run game going. Instead of giving it to Ohio State, it's like, well, they should have been patient. So it's just like, but yeah, Notre Dame has really good backs. They have Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love is the better back of the two. I'm pretty sure he scored a touchdown or two each game. He's over 1,000 yards. Jadarian Price, he can hang in there as well. He's close to 1,000 yards. I think he was 200. I think between 200 and 150 away from 1,000 yards. He also has like 8 to 10 touchdowns on the season. So these are deadly backs. And Riley Leonard, he has like 14, 15 rushing touchdowns. So he is very deadly with his legs. But if you go back and you look at that Oregon game, you know, Dylan Gabriel killed us with his legs the first game as well. But look how well Cody Simon and them, they put a spy in him, they contained him. So, you know,
kept him in the pocket.
Kept him in the pocket. Look for that again. I mean, we cannot let this Riley Leonard get any second chances slip out of the pocket, or you know, it could cost this Buckeye team. But this Ohio State defense, man, they're playing its best defense. Jim Knowles has especially earned his money, and in my opinion, he can stay, man. He could stay.
I like him quite a bit, man.
Notre Dame also has that wide receiver lacrosse player. I don't know his name. He's number 6, but he made a couple good plays against Penn State, and but yeah,
I know what you're talking about, because I remember seeing 6 flashing for Notre Dame.
He's quick, dude. I mean, you got to be quick when you're a lacrosse player. You know, you got to be really shifty too. So watch out for him as well. But dude, this Notre Dame offensive line, they got a lot of depth. They're really talented, and this could be a line of scrimmage battle.
One thing throughout the years, Notre Dame's had a lot of different head coaches, Marcus Freeman being another one of them. They've always had elite offensive linemen, drafted high. Yeah, I really respect their offensive linemen. And so we're going to be challenged, especially with JTT being injured coming in this game. I thought he broke his ankle. But he had that thing heavily bandaged. He said he's going to play through the injury.
Oh yeah, man. Dude, and he still played lights out, man. He still did. I mean,
he still made an impact.
Yeah, I'm expecting, expecting big things from this Ohio State defense, man. It's since we're talking about Ohio State's defense, let's look at Notre Dame's offense. I have the stats to see what they're going up against.
Let's take a look.
So overall offense, points per games, they rank 3rd. Yards per game, 43rd. They have 405.2 yards per game. Red zone scoring, they're ranked 68th with 83.33%. Now, we've seen what Ohio State's red zone defense can do. We saw how it was the dagger in the Texas game, and it was a dagger for a lot of games and for a good amount of games in general. For Nebraska, for that Penn State game.
Yep.
A lot of turning points. I know they didn't win against Michigan, clearly, but they still had some goal line stands.
Yeah.
As well.
Some key ones.
Yeah. So for rushing attack, so yards per rush, 5.9. They're third in the country now.
Jeez, that'll get it done.
That could be deadly because you get 5 yards and first down. That's what you want. 5 yards first down, because then you have 2 more downs to get 5.
Heck yeah.
So, rushing yards per game, they're 12th. They're 12th in the country, with 210.9 yards per game. Passing yards per game for passing, they're 100th, 194.3. But they've quarterback sacks. They're ranked 52nd, 5 point. I think. Does that mean like 5 per game? I don't know, but it's like, so looking at the passing, I think that they're going to have to be worrying about because if you look at Notre Dame's receivers, they don't have flashy receivers other than that lacrosse guy. And Notre Dame's only passing touchdown against Penn State was because I think Reed who fell down, and then that left.
Hey, shut up. Keep going.
That left the wide receiver like wide open. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, it looks like that Ohio State's going to have to really work on containing Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the Buckeyes can contain the rushing attack, man. They have that dual-headed monster, like you said. Trayvon Henderson and Quinshawn lead our dual-headed monster for our offensive attack. And it's exciting. But we're going to be able to contain them. And I'm pretty confident in our shutting down the run game and making them one-dimensional.
I mean, we do that. We'll have to worry about the receivers and Leonard. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, his legs.
Now, could they be watching that Texas game and seeing, okay, if we get our running backs in the passing game and line them up against Styles or Cody Simon, that could be a weakness right there. Because clearly Ohio State was not ready for that against Jaden Blue, because he got based on wheel routes.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. But speaking of the other side of the ball, the flip side of things, so we're building an offensive attack. We didn't have our best offensive performance versus the Longhorns, of course. We didn't. Will Hard was decent. He was 7. I can't remember his exact stats. Maybe we can pull those up next, but don't feel the pressure to. But how are we going to attack this team? Do you think it's going to be a balanced attack with Trayvon and Quinshawn, as well as Jeremiah and Emeka, or do you think it's going to be an aerial assault versus Xavier Watts and the Irish secondary?
Yeah, let me pull up these stats real quick for Will Howard. So he was 24 for 33, 289 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Now he just can't just okay, Jeremiah Smith is out there somewhere. It worked against Oregon. Texas did really well shutting down Jeremiah Smith. Now, I will say that since 3 players in Texas secondary bracketed Jeremiah Smith, people forget that we have 2 other wide receiver ones in the country, and that is true. If Emeka Buka were anywhere else, they'd be wide receiver ones on their team, on anyone else's team. So let's see. Carnell Tate, he had a good game.
He was good. He stepped up.
7 receptions for 87 yards. He dropped that 1 touchdown. Emeka Buka, it seemed like it was really dispersed between the receivers. I mean, dude, Jeremiah Smith, I mean, he was laughing all over Twitter when they showed that he was bracketed by the picture of where he's bracketed by 3 Texas defenders, and just like, okay, that's how great I am. And it's clear that the ball was dispersed. Emeka Buka, 51 yards, G. Scott, 30, Junkins 22, Will Carmack 21, and then Henderson, that burst of speed, 75 yards and a touchdown. So, but let's look at Notre Dame's defense by the numbers now. Points per game, 14.3. They rank second. Yards per game, 298.3. They rank seventh. Their red zone defense against other opponent. Yeah, the red zone defense, 10th in the country. Other teams have been 72% successful. They allow 4.4 yards per down. They rank fifth. But let's look at the run defense. So the run defense, they are 34th. They allow 133 yards per game. And then this pass defense, dude. This pass defense, man. They rank third, 165.3 yards per game. Now, this seems like this seems like another Texas matchup.
It's right up there with us.
I mean, Texas had a really highly flaunted pass defense, and so does Notre Dame. So got to respect their pass defense. We all know that they're gonna. I mean, others say that, oh, Texas and Michigan, they provided the blueprint. Can Notre Dame emulate it? We'll see.
Yeah. We're going to find out really quickly how effective our passing attack and aerial assault's going to be. The Rams scheme up some things, man. Their defensive coordinator is elite, obviously. I mean, their secondary is right up there with us in terms of yards per game against. And so I'm excited to see the test match between ROC, Chip Kelly, and their defensive coordinator. That's going to be fun to watch, man. What a battle that's going to be. That might determine the game, actually.
Al Golden, he's a really good defense coordinator. Now, what I will say is Notre Dame's defense, we all know what takeaways can do. And in the takeaway per game, they rank fifth. They get 2.1 takeaways per game. So, I mean, that could really, that could really put a hinder on Ohio State's drives if Will Howard doesn't make good decisions. Now, what I will say is for their defense, I think it's for pass interference. Actually, wait, no. I'm trying to figure out how many. Actually, no. Who cares about that stat? I thought I saw something about how many pass interference flags they get per game on per game for against the pass, but how many pass interference calls they get. But yeah, man, it looks like it's gonna be another dogfight. Game that's one of the trenches. Ohio State showing what they could do, what they did against Texas. The world's clearly against Ohio State, and I hope that they have another answer, because what I will say is this is Ohio State's best chance to win another national championship. I don't care what anyone says.
Give me a while.
Yeah, Ohio State will be talented next season. They'll more than likely be a playoff team, but it will be a while before they do something like this.
Takes special teams, special chemistry, and special bond, not just talent, to go all the way. They have to love each other, and I think that's what Ohio State team does. I'm excited to see the products on the field coming up on the 20th, man. It's going to be a blast. I don't have a score prediction yet. I'm not ready to give that. I haven't thought enough about how I think this shakes out, but I do think, I'm confident, but it will be an ugly game. I think it'll be an ugly game in terms of physical in the trenches. That's what I mean by ugly.
Yeah, man. And again, 57 carries for 53 yards. Ohio State has given up the last two games in the trenches. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go Bucks. We made it to this final game, man. Here we are. Who knew on the year that we launched this channel together, we're going to be playing for a national championship? I didn't expect it. I was hopeful, but here we are, man. The final game. Go Bucks. Let's go. Let's bring home that title. I-O.